Hey everybody, I'm Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind. Today is just a get stuff done chat. We're not doing much of anything. Well, we are doing stuff. We're working on projects. Um, but I just decided that this was going to be very impromptu and I wanted to do something for Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Glad you guys are here. Thank you. I know Jean said she would be right back. She had to go feed the dogs. And I see Chloe has stopped into the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Glad you're here. I'm actually going to work on my homework. Glenda just dropped in. Hey, Glenda. Yeah, I'm just working on my homework for Cut and Chiseled. I was going to swap over to work on my puzzle mystery quilt. Nope, that's not going to happen today. It's going to be low energy. So I'm glad you guys are here. Have you done anything fun for Mother's Day? What have you been up to today? Have you been taking it easy? I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. I'm not going to have my keyboard up, so just let me know. This is one of my wonderful Mother's Day presents that my husband brought home or showed up this morning with. So yeah. I am all over the map, you guys. I am so sorry. I'm just glad you guys are here. You're coming to hang out with me. I just wanted to get some sewing time in or some fabric time in. Glenda saying Happy Mother's Day. Dawn saying hello, everyone. Glad you're here, Dawn. Thank you. I appreciate the support. I really do. So I just went and had dinner, and then I'm back. And dinner was really, really good. But of course, trying to rush, I ate too much and ate too fast. So I'm going to be in a little bit of recovery mode. So yeah, that's my day today. Maritza is here. She's giving us a wave. Maritza, if you want, drop exclamation selfie and that will give everybody a link to your channel. I do not mind. Chloe is saying Happy Mother's Day to all. Absolutely. Definitely Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I'm currently just a dog mom. I don't have any kids in the house. So, I've raised kids. I've got a kid. And we're all kids at one point or another. So we all have a mother, whether or not we know them. But yeah, definitely Happy Mother's Day. Absolutely. So, what I'm going to be doing is just trimming up my blocks. I got everything sewn, got everything pressed earlier. Started working towards getting to trim, and had camera problems earlier. Yeah, I'm going to be on the lookout for another camera. I've also done some rewiring in the studio today. My husband came in as my Mother's Day, part of my Mother's Day present, and redid my lights. Then, of course, I've left the remote outside of the area, so I can't work on it. You know what? Let me do a little bit of another adjustment real quick. I realized that the little inset screen is huge and like taking up all of my space, so you guys can't really see me. So we're gonna make some adjustments. It is just a lazy Sunday here. That's what we're gonna go with. It's just lazy Sunday. That is all we're going to go with. My sunset is happening like really, really soon, so I've got a lot of. Oh, I just blinded myself too. Oh, direct sunlight coming in through my window. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, that's a little bit better. Now you guys can actually see me, and I'm not like blocked off halfway from the camera. And I'm just trimming these up. These are the half square triangles for the cut and chiseled. Jean is saying Happy Mother's Day. Yes, Jean, Happy Mother's Day to you too. Thank you. I have not gotten these done, so that's what I'm working on today. Is I am working on getting my half square triangles trimmed for cut and chisels. I know, Chloe, you were saying you were going to get your fat quarters ready and get going on it. I will say I didn't think about this when I scheduled the dates, you guys. But once everything is released Thursday, there's going to be a lot of sewing before you guys see the release on Friday. So I may have a little bit of Thursday's work done before Thursday. So I don't expect you all to keep up, like be able to keep up pace wise, because I didn't think you guys are allowed to be mad at me. I didn't think. So Thursday is a lot of homework before Friday, so I'm not expecting you to have it done. Jean says mine aren't done yet either. Yeah, they're not done. I'm eating chips, by the way, too. They kind of settle my stomach a little bit, so I'm trying not to eat a whole lot, but yeah, I've got a few chips. Few chips beside me. I got outside and got some planting done. I had started some sunflowers and let's see, I had sunflowers, morning glories, impatiens, nasturtiums, and borage. I think that's how you say it. I mean, I could be wrong on how I'm saying it. I could be completely butchering the name. It's spelled Borage. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's not a plant that I grew up knowing about. But when I ordered seeds a couple years ago, the company that I ordered the seeds through sent me some quote freebie seeds. And it was borage or however the heck it's pronounced. And they're gorgeous little blue star flowers. They really are pretty. But I don't know how to pronounce them. But I got some planting done out on my third floor balcony. So I got to play in the dirt. My nails definitely need some work after all of that. Chloe says, I love nasturtiums as well as sunflowers. Yes, sunflowers are absolutely my favorite. If you've got sunflowers somewhere, you can guarantee I'm going to be looking at them. The first time I grew sunflowers, it was kind of a fluke. Somebody had some dwarf sunflower little kits, and I was like, well, let me give it a try. And I absolutely could grow them, and I was shocked that I could grow them. And I did not get to do any sunflowers last year. Last year is when we moved to Wyoming, and I did not get the chance to do much with sunflowers last year. And my favorite sunflowers in the world are the chocolate cherry kind of color way of sunflowers. So like they've got a black or brown color to the petals, and I mean they have the ring, and like they're just gorgeous. I've got to turn my light on, you guys. I came in here, and of course because the sunset being so bright, I didn't even realize I never turned my overhead light on. So like I can't see what I'm doing. You guys can see it, but I can't see it very well. So we're gonna turn some lights on. There we go. Now you guys can see that I got lights on. I promise I have them. And I would like turn them on my normal way, but I have one of those Amazon devices. And so I'm very conscious that if I tell my Amazon device to do something, that especially if you've got me on speaker or you've got me on like loud enough for your Amazon device to hear, that I might trigger your Amazon device. So I'm very conscious of trying not to do that to anybody. So, what did you guys do for Mother's Day? Did you take your moms out to eat? Did you just give them a call? Are you a mom that got your kids doing stuff for you today? What has your Mother's Day turned out to be? I just realized my little board isn't visible now that I like moved everything. So like my board is like back here. Let me turn the light off on it since you guys aren't seeing it anyway. There we go. All right. So I got 4 or 5. Let me see how many sets I've got done. I've got 1. So I've got those done. I got that set done. This one, I've got one that's pinned because I discovered earlier that my square was not 5 7/8, so it's even smaller than what it needs to be. So I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. Jean says, talked to my mom on FaceTime and slept, did a few blocks. Hey, that's a good Mother's Day. That's absolutely a good Mother's Day. I actually called my mom today. And apparently my husband called my parents. He talks to my parents more than I do. He called my parents while he was out getting my Mother's Day stuff. And I don't know what all he said to them, but he is very entertaining when he gets on the phone with them. And he'll complain about me, but I know he loves me. But it just seems like a small pile. Beverly is here saying, hey, Tammy and everyone. Hi, Beverly. Chloe's saying, not much. My mom passed 23 years ago. I'm working tonight and listening. That is a good way to spend a quiet Mother's Day. No shame in that. No shame at all. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4 sets done. So I am working on set 5 of 12. So we've got some cutting ahead. Got a lot of cutting to go. So Beverly, I was asking everybody what they did for their Mother's Day. The only person I'm a mom to right now is my dog. I will tell you, of all the days for him to misbehave, today has been that day. Beverly saying hey to Chloe, Jean, and Maritza. Glad you are doing that, Beverly. Thank you so much. You do not know how much I actually really appreciate everybody saying hi to everybody. That like warms my heart because I do not have the energy to type in the chat for everybody. So, knowing that they're getting their personal welcomes, I really appreciate that. That would be something that I would do if I had the energy to chat and type at the same time. Oh, there we go. She's saying hi to Glenda and Dawn. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you. I always know that when you're coming into my chat, you're going to do that for me. I appreciate it. She's giving everybody the personal welcome for me. I haven't asked her to do it, but I appreciate it. I sure do. There we go. Glenda saying hi back to Beverly. So I called my mom, and she was going to be cleaning out her freezer today. And I do not live close to my mom, so it's not a job I can help with. That is something she definitely have to do all on her own. She's got my dad there to help. Oh, Beverly saying, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. See, I promise, I do notice. I do. I pay attention to who does what, and I pay attention to everybody that's in my chat. And you guys, no joke, I actually do go back, and so I use Nightbot, and Nightbot will tell me, Nightbot will give me a log of the chat. So if I feel like I missed something after the chat, I will go back in Nightbot and look at the chat log just to make sure that I know if I missed something, what I missed. And then I also go back through and just, I occasionally go back and read it like it's a diary. Because I kind of find it fun to see what all you guys were saying, especially when I couldn't pay attention all the way. And if you're misbehaving or something like that, I managed to catch it. Like, yeah, I get to see when you're being snarky. Not that most of you are snarky. I'm just saying. If you are watching and you are not in the chat, I do have subscriber mode turned on. I usually do for most of my lives. The only ones that do not have subscriber mode turned on are my tutorials. So if you come in to Cut and Chiseled, you do not have to be a subscriber to be able to get that content. Guess who, Nancy? Hi, y'all. I can't go to sleep and I need to. Okay, so Nancy, what I do when I have a day like that where I need to go to sleep and I can't, I get up, move around for about 30 minutes or so, and do something like high energy, and then I try again. That's how I do it. But I completely understand. But you're welcome to stay and listen and whatever and see if my voice puts you to sleep. Although I'm not sure that that's a glowing recommendation. I do not mind either way. I do not mind at all. I know a lot of other content creators were going live today in honor of Mother's Day, and I have not had a chance to really watch or go live or anything up until Kimberly went live earlier. Glenda said my dad passed in 2006 and my mom passed in 2016. Oh, that's, at least those are, it's memorable years. And I know it never gets easier, even with time. But at least you have some memories to go with. So I'm sorry to hear that they're not here, but I hope you've got some good memories to go with. That's how I look at it. And this is kind of a morbid topic, so I won't talk about it for long. But I kind of handle death a little bit differently than a lot of people. I do grieve. I absolutely do. But I tend to be all business until later on. Like, I don't grieve usually very publicly. So if it doesn't seem like I'm coming off, very sympathetic, I actually am. It's just not my normal nature. Let's see. I guess Nancy was laughing at my comments about going to sleep or listening to me to go to sleep. Yeah, Mother's Day is both cathartic and difficult for a lot of people, and so it's nice to know that Mother's Day happens and that a lot of people get to celebrate it the way that they want to, and the rest of us have to celebrate it the way that we are allowed to, the way that time has granted us. Glenda says, my husband passed in 2012. You have had a rough run, Glenda. I am so sorry. Nina is here. She says, hello, Tammy and everyone. Nina was catching me over at Kimberly's at Pajama Quilter earlier. I am back. And now that I have multiple cameras, Nina. I only had one camera over there at Kimberly's. I do not use StreamYard, so I don't quite know all the ins and outs and how to share and all of that other stuff. Oh, you know what we were talking about earlier? We were talking about the the aurora and what people saw with the aurora. I can probably show you guys now. I couldn't show you then, but I should be able to show you now. So let me do that real quick. Let me do that. So let me grab my picture. There we go. And let me tell my software where I want to go. And I'll show you guys some of the aurora pictures that I got. let's see if this is showing up the way I want it to. There we go. That will work. That will work well enough. All right, so we're going to do a little slideshow for just a second. All right, so I went out and I went north of town, about 25 miles north of town. And so this is one of the shots that I got. So you can see right here the aurora and all the different lights in the sky. That is the moon. That is the moon. And then this is one of the other ones that I got. And it's really got that wave going. Just across the whole sky. The green waves. I was so proud of being able to get that shot. Now I will say that I did not bring my tripod, so my pictures are not as clear as a lot of other people's pictures. If I brought my tripod, I could have gotten a lot better shots. All right, and this is one of the other ones that I got, facing a different direction. So the picture that you were looking at a minute ago with the green waves was off to the, not due north, but it was kind of like northeast a little bit. And this is more to northwest. All the pink and all that in the sky. And then how bright the lights actually got. Now you couldn't see all of this with the naked eye. You could see the light. So especially this section right here, you could see that it was lighting up the sky, but you just couldn't see how much without, being able to time lapse that a little bit. So this is one of the other ones that I got. And this is facing back over where that one before was. And you can kind of see all those little waves in the sky. So they really kind of showed up. It was kind of a nice, this is the first time I've ever seen the aurora in person. So I've seen pictures before, but I've never been able to see this. Like I've never been this close to even having a chance. And then this one has that moon as well. So here's the moon over here. And you can tell by the stars that I was not very steady with my camera. But it sure did light up the sky. I love the purple undertones that come in with the aurora like this. And then I think this is the last one. No, actually, it's not going to be the last one. But this was facing south. So the lights, I don't know, you can't see the lights at the bottom, but these trees here at this bottom are trees over at a ranch that was off the other direction from where we were parked. I love all the wide open spaces that we have here. And here's that last one. And this is looking back over, we were looking back over to the west. And this just lit up my camera. My camera was just having a field day with it. But again, if you look at the stars, I wasn't very steady. But I had fun catching that. Glenda was saying beautiful. Chloe saying wow. Beverly saying awesome pictures. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to bring you guys back off real quick. There we go. I just wanted to show those off. It's a little bit of a me moment. I'm glad I could share it with you guys though. Because I got into photography because of things like the aurora and landscape and animals and all of that. And I've done a lot of model photography. So I've taken pictures of people that are trying to get modeling jobs. So that's a lot of what I've done. But I do still like when I can get back to my roots, back to my basics. And And some of those night shots are really hard to do. I know cell phones these days have come a long way, but that was not using a cell phone. Let's see, Jean says, last ones I saw were in Alaska 40 years ago. Yeah. See, I was in Alaska during the summer when I visited Alaska, and for the entire 2 weeks that we were there was not a single aurora the entire time. But again, we were there during the summer where you only have an hour or two of daylight depending on which part of Alaska you were in. So I did not get lucky enough to see an aurora there. That was the first time I've ever seen a moose. I saw a moose while I was in Alaska. I was the only one other than the driver that was awake in the van that we were riding in. So everybody starts waking up closer to our destination. And, I'm going, well, hey, you guys missed the moose. And for real, they did not believe me. The driver had to tell them that, yes, indeed, we did see a moose. Nighttime, you mean? Yeah, there was not a lot of nighttime. Did I say? Yeah, I probably said that wrong. You're probably right. I wouldn't have caught that either, Jean. I'm glad you did. Oh, yeah, I got to, there's a lot of things I got to do in Alaska, but seeing an aurora was not one of those things. I did get to see my first buffalo the other week. Bison. Is it bison or buffalo? I don't know. It's the big fluffy cows. The ones that you're supposed to come to Yellowstone and not pet. Whatever those things are. I saw one of those recently. All right, so that got me 5, I think. Let me make sure. Let's see how far we are. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm not even halfway through. There's Kimberly. Hi, Tammy. She says, hi, Kimberly. If you would like, Kimberly, go ahead and drop exclamation selfie in the chat, and that will give all my viewers a link to your channel. I was just over at Kim's channel, Kimberly's channel earlier, where the male members of the household were making her dinner for Mother's Day. And they were having a blast. Yep, Kimberly with Pajama Quilter. I do like that name, Kimberly. That is kind of cool. But you took it before I could think of it. Yep, she was saying hi to me and hi to Nina, and Nina saying hi back. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So you guys, there is a link to Kimberly's channel, and you can go check out her content. She has a cool project coming up that is going to be focused around angels. So if you want to go check out her live from today later on and go play that, you'll see me over there and you'll hear some more details about what she has said so far regarding her project. She also had a cool little question for everybody earlier, and that was really cool. And Nina won that. Congratulations, by the way, Nina. That was awesome. I have not figured out exactly what I want to do yet with mine. I don't want to do... I'm not a big questions person as far as, like, who can get the riddle right kind of thing. I am more of a... Kimberly actually brought it up. Me asking which sewing celebrity would you like to meet? I'm more of that kind of question person. What kind of content do you like, kind of thing? That's kind of my question. Mia saying thank you. Yes, absolutely. I'm excited for you. I am very excited for you. I was thinking if I won that, I'm like, well, when am I going to work on that quilt? Like, when would I have time? I would have to drop all my current projects to work on it because I'd be too excited from having won the quilt pattern. So if I wanted it, I might have had to ask you, Kimberly, if I could have given it away on my channel and then given you free advertising for it. I do not mind, but that might have been what I had to do. So now if we get up to, I'll go with 25 viewers. I don't think we're going to hit there. But if we hit 25 viewers tonight, I will do a giveaway. I'm only going to be on for like another hour and a half. So I'm not going to be on for long. I mean, well, I'll be on for as long as I feel up to it. How's about that? But if we can get up to 25 viewers, I'll do a giveaway. I might be asking too much. I'm seeing 10 in the chat. So many projects, so little time. Yes, Kimberly, absolutely. So, all right. So, I want to know how many projects you guys have going right now. Like, how many active projects do you guys have? Because if we count binding quilts, I'm going to start hitting double digits. If we're not talking binding quilts, then we're not talking double digits. You guys want me to count how many projects I got going? If we count binding the quilts? Nina says I work on the quilts listening to you and Kimberly talking. Hey, no worries. That is a great way to work on projects. That's actually kind of how I got my start. Once I moved up here to Wyoming, is I put my TV up on the wall, and you guys, well, you can't see it right now, but my TV is still up on the wall, and I would pull up Tiffany's channel from Tiffany's Quilting Life. I would pull up her channel, and oh my gosh, I would watch her Insomniac videos, and I've seriously thought about doing an Insomniac series myself. For all those nights that I can't sleep. But I would probably wind myself up too much. Kimberly says I can't count mine. Okay. So I've got 2 quilts quilted that need binding. So that's just 2. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If you count the one that's on my long arm, I've got 5 quilts that need quilting. Oh, 6? Hang on. 6 that need quilting. I've got, so that's 8. So I've got 1 that is partially assembled and just needs to be sashed. And that'll give me 9. This one is 10. Sparkle is 11. The embroidery block one is 12. I've got 2 there, so that's 14. I'm not going to count that one. And then that one, oh, 15? Yeah, I've got about 15 projects, you guys. Oh, correction, 16. I have one that I haven't bought the fabric for yet. So, yeah, I got like 16 projects, all in different states of being done. All in different states of being attempted to be done. So what I think I'm going to do is after I get, I've got to get some quilting time in. Jean says at least 14. Yes. Now, if I counted like the projects that are not even in this room, that are like in my closet, we'd be adding another probably 5 or 6, maybe something like that. If we counted quilt kits, then we'd probably be adding a whole another 10 total. So I'd be up to probably about 35. If we were talking every single quilt project that is at some point of completion. All right, so Kimberly is saying to Nina that Stone Garden is on its way. That's exciting. Now, is Stone Garden the one that you were showing in your video, Kimberly? Is that the, am I following that correctly? I am so behind the times. I have not, like, I seriously have not even watched half of the content creators I normally watch in the last 2 weeks. Pam is here. She says, good evening, Tammy and everyone. Good evening, Pam. Glad you are joining us. Thank you. And I am working on my homework. And you guys, this ruler is a Nifty Notions ruler. And it doesn't come with any grippy on the back, but I did put some grippy stuff on the back. It's off of that roll of, oh, I can't think of the name of it. It's some kind of grip powder, or grip, it's a roll of grippy stuff. And so when I put my hand on it, it's not supposed to move, but if I don't put my hand on it hard enough, it moves. So when I'm cutting, when you see me do this, my fingers are never going to be too close to the edge. Like, I'm not going to cut my fingers, but I am literally having to put pressure on. So I am still the jury's still out on what kind of rulers I want to get, because I do need to start replacing these. They're starting to wear out. Nina says, I make scrap quilt tops for charity. I usually have 5 going at once. That is a lot. Yes, Jean and Visigrip, you're right. That is exactly what I'm thinking of. Sassy 16 was what was shown, is what Kimberly's saying, and that, okay, so Stone Garden was a different one. Okay, that's awesome. I might have to check those out. Yeah, yeah, it is that Invisigrip stuff. I mean, and it works, don't get me wrong, and it's still see-through. I mean, you guys can see me through it. So, you know, it's still see-through. But it is not super grippy. And I'm not really fond of the Creative Grids rulers. Because I don't like the black lines. Jean says, I have that on mine, and I am with you. It is not as good as I would like. Yeah. So I have 2 of this exact same ruler. This is an 11-inch square. Nifty Notions is one of the only ones that put this out when they put it out. And they're owned by another company now. Like, I've looked them up. They don't make these rulers anymore. But so here's what I like in a ruler, and you guys can probably help me out. So the lines are green and purple, so they're not that black, hard to look at. Hey, Mona is here. She says, hi everyone, up late. Yes, we are up late. We are online late. There we go. That's more the truth of it. All right, so if you guys are looking at so if you look at this corner junction, between each of the inch ruling markings, you see where my finger is, you can see straight through that, straight through the ruler all the way. And I've got 1/8 of an inch markings. Sorry, my ruler's trying to refocus. I've got 1/8 of an inch markings all the way up to the inch lines. But I can see exactly where my fabric is in these circles between the inch line markings. And I know you can't see the pink lines very well on the camera, but there are pink lines at the 1/4 inch markings. As I move my fingers, you might be able to tell a little bit. And then there's the green lines at the 1/2 inch markings and full inch. If you guys have suggestions for me for rulers that would give me some of these kind of same markings, that would give me those same holes, let me know. I want to know what rulers I need to look at, because I'm not happy. I love these rulers, but they don't grip and they're starting to wear out. I mean, these are 10 years old, something like that. I mean, they're pretty stinking old. I've had them forever. But every ruler that I have, aside from some specialty rulers that I've bought for classes or something like that, everything that I have is these. So I'm really, really accustomed to them, but I have to admit, I need new rulers. I am to that point where these are just, I'm having to work too hard to use them. So I need the grippy, and I need to be able to have that visibility. And I do not have visibility with a lot of those black line rulers. And with that yellow highlighting on some of them, I'm just not familiar. I don't know. All right, so everybody's saying hi to Mona. Mona's saying hi to everyone else, and she's getting to them. So yeah, the Invisigrip, it works. Oh, so what I was going to say is this other ruler that I've got that's this size, I bought the spray stuff to put on the back to make it grippy. And I will say it probably works better than the Invisigrip as far as the grippy. But I cannot handle the texture of it. It is very chalky. Feels kind of like a paste, maybe. So it's really hard for me to grip and feel and like pick the ruler up because it just has that icky feeling to me. And I just don't know where I really need to look, like what my options really need to be, because I just have not found anything I'm happy with yet. So what rulers do you guys have that you think that would fit the bill for what I'm looking for? All right, so we're up to 17 people viewing right now. Once we hit 25, if we hit 25, I'm doing a giveaway. I will go grab it. I have it. It is over there, but I will go grab it. One of the things that I got the other day is a giveaway. And I was kind of excited about it. Kind of don't want to give it away. Kind of want to keep it for myself. I did pick up a few new giveaway items. Oh, the chat is going quiet. Oh, we're up to 18. So we are 7 people away, you guys. We will have a Mother's Day giveaway. So this is group 6. So once I get through with these other 3 that I've got sitting here, I will be halfway through my homework or halfway through trimming my homework. Everything is sewn and pressed. I just have to, trim it up, get it all to that 5.5-inch squares that we're doing. And I was mentioning on Pajama Quilter Kimberly's live earlier, I think I did, but I mentioned it earlier in this one. If you were doing the cut and chiseled fat quarter friendly quilt, if you were doing that project, be aware that Thursday, what we're doing Thursday, is going to be a lot of work. So I'm not expecting you guys to be caught up by Friday. If you are caught up by Friday, then you probably did nothing but sew after the live. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. Now, if you're prepped for Thursday, that makes your job a lot easier. But if you're not prepped for Thursday, you're going to have a lot of work. I just got to be honest. Just got to be honest. Oh, the sunset's pretty, you guys. I don't know if I can show you because I've got quilts and my mess and everything else in the way. So Mona, you joined late, later than everybody else. So I've got to ask, how has your Mother's Day been? What have you done today? Has your day been special? Has it been quiet? Has it been kind to you? How has your Mother's Day been? Mother's Day is always the day for quilters because so many of us, we tap into quilting because of our mothers or because, we're women or, whatever else. I feel like that is a kindred spirit within the quilting community is, joining in that motherhood journey, whether we are mothers or not. So, I hope my chat did not freeze. You guys, it has not moved in a little bit. Okay, there we go. Relax and watch movies with my daughter. Oh, that's awesome. That is a good way to spend a Mother's Day. That's a very good way. I've spent it working on quilt projects. I have planted plants. And the rest of it's been kind of quiet. My mom can't even sew on a button. Well, see, that's what she had you for. She had you so that you could sew on the buttons, right? That's what we're going to go with. That's my story. I'll stick to it. We dropped, you guys. We are 9 away from being able to do a giveaway. Aw, it happens though. It happens. If we hit 25, long enough for me to see that we hit 25, we're going to do a giveaway. Just saying. Just saying. I mean, you guys are already here, so, I don't know who you would tell to, hey, come join. Just antics around here. Yes. You guys had a lot of antics going on. An absolute ton of them. All right, so last 6 stacks. So this is 6 times 12, so we're looking at 72 half square triangles. That is what I am going to try to trim and see if we can get completely caught up for Thursday. I think you guys will be super happy with the way that this comes out. So I know Chloe and Jean are talking about participating. Anybody else in the chat who is joining in on the cut and chiseled? Anybody? And one thing I do know that I mentioned in Kimberly's chat that I have not mentioned here yet is I do want to do more tutorials. So I really enjoyed doing that Irish chain with a twist baby quilt. And I really like being able to put kind of my own spin on things. And I think what I want to do is every couple of months, I want to put out a pattern. So it'll still be free patterns. So just like this one, it's going to be a free pattern. Pam says, my mom and grandma were beautiful quilters. They used cardboard templates and scissors, and their quilts were much more complicated than mine. Don't ever sell your quilts short, Pam. Your version of complicated is different than your mom and grandmother's version of complicated. So just like the kids today are not really learning cursive writing, they would consider cursive writing complicated. However, for at least my generation and older, cursive writing was considered an art form, and it was considered necessary. You had to learn to write in cursive, and you had to learn how to read in cursive. So you didn't get a freebie pass on learning cursive handwriting. So same thing with quilting. What you view as a younger generation than your mom and your grandmother, what you view as complicated for yourself or challenging or whatever, that is your expression of your art. Don't ever sell that short. Nina says, rulers, my favorites are the Olfa Frosted and the Creative Grids. They're both clear clear with no yellow. Okay, that's awesome. So I will add those to my list to look at. I probably will be getting to a quilt shop within the next month or so. I plan to anyway. I'll put it that way. I've got a couple of projects that I need to purchase for, and I want to participate in the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop, and it starts May 28th and runs through sometime in August. Don't quote me on when, because I don't know exactly when. I can't remember. I know I saw it earlier today, just cannot think of it. But I think there's like 28 or 30 shops participating across the state. I don't know how many shops for sure. I didn't count. But I know of a few of them that are participating, so I can go stop in there and get what I need to get going with it. Mona says, sorry, I can't stay awake night all. No worries, Mona. Good evening. Have a good night and enjoy some good sleep and dream of your next quilt. That's what I want to go to sleep dreaming about, is my next quilt. Everybody saying good evening to Mona and rest well. Absolutely. Gotta send her off with some good thoughts and good warm wishes for good sleep. Sleep is so important. Isn't it, Kimberly? We were having a discussion earlier that Kimberly really hasn't gotten a lot of sleep. So words are not words when you are exhausted. I think one of her family was chiming in about turning off the television. It was quite comical. I do love hanging out with quilty friends because it's always a good time. Even when you're not working on the same project, you are still working on something quilting related. There you go, Kimberly. She says, what sleep? It is that time when your body doesn't respond to outside stimuli for long enough that it recharges. That's what we're going to go with. Whether that's coma, whether that is anesthesia, or whether that's sleep. Oh, it's all body rest. That's what we're going to go with. Body rest. Oh my goodness. And I have to say, all the men in your household today, that was funny. You guys really missed a good time. If you were not on Kimberly's chat, it was hilarious. The guys were not trying to behave. So I got off of the live there, and since I was off the live, my dog has been in and out of my studio constantly. He had to come in here and see what I might have dropped on the floor for him to play with that wasn't his toys. He had to bring toys in here. I had to shoo him out of here before I could start my live, guys. Are the instructions for the sew along on the lives, or are there PDFs? Good question, Nina. So they are initially only on the lives, but on Friday, when I release the last clue, at the end of the live, I will already have the PDF ready, and I will put the PDF with a link that you can go download it from the link. So as of right now, there are no PDFs, so you do have to watch the lives. But after the last live airs, then I will go in and put the link in the description box, and you will have a PDF you can print out to follow along with. Now, my PDFs that accompany my free patterns are going to be fairly non-descriptive, I guess is the best way to put it. They're not going to be super in-depth, But it will give you measurements. It will give you the basic cutting instructions. It won't give you any of the tips that I'm giving on my lives. So, like, there's a tip about the cutting of the squares that you're using for these half square triangles. There's some specific tips for cutting that I give, and it's a workaround if you run into a hiccup. But I'm only giving that on the lives. I'm not going into that much detail. But the PDFs do give you basically like the Cliff Notes version of what the whole project is. So it's great for following along with, but it's not going to be, I mean, I guess if you look at my previous one, the Irish chain with a twist, when you go back and look at that one, you'll kind of get an idea of what my PDF instructions are going to look like. So those should still be available. If you can't access them for any reason, let me know and I will fix it. But the PDF is available for the Irish chain with a twist, and it's the one I released 2 months ago. I released it in March. And so the PDF is there, but and it covers the basics. It covers everything that you absolutely would have to know to figure it out. But you're not getting all the extra little demonstrations or the extra visuals or anything like that. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense. I do want the YouTube videos to be kind of a springboard, and I want the printed PDF option, or the PDFs to, Nina says, I can watch the lives and take notes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, like I said, once all the lives are done, then there will be the PDF. So you can always print that out once all the lives are done. And that will be kind of your Cliff Notes to go along with. And so let's say you waited until after Friday to start this project. You would have that Cliff Notes version to kind of make your own notes about as you watch the lives. And the lives definitely will not be long enough to complete this quilt. You'll have a lot more work than just the 8 hours that the lives will have. But you'll see, all the commentary, you'll see all the conversation, or you'll hear all the conversation, and you'll have all the pro tips. The half square triangles on this one there is a pro tip that I had to put in there, because I ran into a problem with my half square triangles, and it's not something that everybody might run into. But it's, it's important enough that you might want to watch it. So it's up to you. It's up to you. I can definitely use the watch hours. I don't mind. I go and watch people's lives that have tutorials and things just to sew by. And I love when they do make it simple enough that I can watch for like 10 minutes and then listen the rest of the time, or watch for 15 minutes, or watch for 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, and everything else makes sense. I love when people do that. So that's kind of what I want to do with mine, is to make it so that you can listen along as I'm working on a project, and you'll still have the visual if you want to see what the actual process is, but you wouldn't necessarily have to be glued to it. I know, and I am a big fan of Tiffany. I'm a huge fan. So one of the things that I like about especially her Insomniac series that she did, I know she's not doing the Insomniac series anymore, but one of the things that I loved about that is I could look up at different parts of the process, and it made sense where she was at, what she was doing, all of that. Like I never had to question what she was doing because she was telling us, but she was also working. So like it wasn't like I didn't need to zoom in on everything, but she'd zoom in for, a few minutes or whatever, and then go back to what she was doing and do it just at the same speed she does everything. I'm not as fast as Tiffany. So I don't know that I could compete with her on that. She is a speed sewer if you've ever met one. But yeah, I mean, I want to keep putting out videos like that. I enjoy doing it. And I find it mentally challenging for me. So that gives me something to strive to complete. And I like being able to provide that to you guys. I really do enjoy that. That is like awesome for me. Absolutely awesome. All right. So that was 7. So this is going to be 8. So 12 of these. And this is that marble fabric. So there's not really a lot of variation in color in this blue here. And this quilt can be done in a lot of different colors and a lot of different variations. So I will be showing the way to do for Scrappy and all of that as we go. Nina says, I stream the replays to my TV, keeps me company while I eat. So yes, my TV is actually behind me now, but when I'm at my long arm, I can see my TV. So if I am long arm quilting, I am not watching the computer. I don't have a keyboard. I am just streaming whatever to the TV. So my TV is, let's see, off this way. It's over here. And my long arm, I'm over that way. So I'm watching the opposite direction. The computer screen and the cameras and all that is kind of behind me as I'm working. I am going to see about getting a camera and the microphone set up to be able to long arm while I'm streaming. I have not worked out all the logistics of that yet because of the way my room is set up. It would be really hard for me to do it, but I'm going to try to find a way because I've gotten a lot of requests for that. And I have not quilted that Irish chain with a twist baby quilt yet. And it is one of the ones that is a top priority quilt. So I've got 2 that are top priority quilts that are already pieced completely and are ready to quilt. I do have another one and it's in the Facebook group. If you guys are here and you're not in the Facebook group, do !group in the chat, and that will send you a link, or that will put up a link in the chat to the Facebook group. In the Facebook group, I share pictures of my super secret project. I also have you guys submitting your sew and tell projects. Now, if you're not a Facebook user, no worries. You can also do !email in the chat. And of course, this is for live users only. I'm sorry. But you can do !email and get my email address. And you can send me your sew and tell that way. Sew and tell is something that I do the first Tuesday of the month. So my normal Tuesday night lives are 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And then sew and tell is always the first Tuesday. And after 6 months of sew and tell, do I hand guide my long arm or am I computerized? I am hand guiding. It is actually a sit down long arm. So it looks kind of like a regular sewing machine. It's just got a really long arm to it. It is an 18-inch throat. So it is all hand guided. And I do not have a stitch regulator on my machine. So all of my stitches are guided by how I sew. So they are not guided by, nothing is computerized on that machine. It is 100% as manual as it gets. I mean, well, there's a little bit of computerized to it, just for the speed control and the needle up and down. That's it. Everything else is manual. Nina, I agree. Keeps me company, says Kim. Yes, absolutely. Streaming the replays, perfect. But yeah, I am thinking about when I quilt the Irish chain with a twist, doing that from the long arm, so you guys can actually watch that quilt come to the completion of it. But I post my pictures of my super secret project. If you guys have projects you want to share that you can't share with anyone else, it is a closed private group, so your friends on Facebook can't see what you post unless they are also members of the group. I can't help you there. But as long as they're not members of the Facebook group as well, you can share pictures of anything that you're working on, and nobody's going to see it except the members of the group. Now, if you put in show and tell, then you're giving me permission to share it on YouTube, on my live, so anybody who watches my YouTube would see it, and they would hear whatever your first name is. That's what they would hear. And I do that because I know what it's like to have all these projects that you're doing, and they're all gifts for people. But they're gifts for people that, they're on your Facebook, but they're not quilters. So how the heck can you share that if you're not a member of a quilt guild, or you're not a member of a specific group, or, whatever. If you want to be able to share it, it is a safe place to share. Again, they have to be not quilters in the group. I can't help you there. I promise I can't. Now, you can post anonymously in the group. So if you have something in, as long as they wouldn't know it's for them, then you can still do it that way. There's always a cheater's method, There's always a cheater's method. The Facebook name, it is Siberian Wind Quilting Group. Do exclamation group, Nina. Just put exclamation group in the chat, and that will give you a link directly to it. So all you have to do is click the link. That makes it a lot simpler, because I know spelling is not easy for everybody. So that gives you a link that it's surefire to get you right where you need to go. That way you're not having to try to figure out the spelling and type it and all of that. Because of course I can't make it simple. Everybody would be in it if it was simple. All right. So, and let's see. There we go. So I will say I haven't posted any super secret. There you go, Nina. There we go. Yep. Yeah, the problem, Chloe, is that it will be with no spaces. And that is the other struggle everybody seems to have, is the no spaces part. But yeah, there's Nightbot giving you a link to it. Oh, I think I got bug bit earlier, you guys. I think I got bug bit. So I haven't had any updates on Super Secret Project that I can post, because I've kind of changed gears on what I have to do. So I finished one section of it, and now I've got to change gears and do a totally different type of work on it. And you guys, it is a mess of a challenge. I'm just gonna say that it is a mess of a challenge. Some of the people, at least one person that I know of in the chat, knows about the project and knows what it's looking like so far. But I'm not sure how many other people in the chat have seen it. Let's see. I saw the notification. Let me go to it. There we go. Member request. All right, Nina, you are in. There we go. Gotcha. All right. She said, that was easy. Your request is pending. Yes. I try to make it easy. My only request is don't spam the group. Don't post links to outside stuff. I've removed a couple of spammers. that have like come in and, hey, come buy this shirt, and like that's all their link is, or that's all they're posting, is stuff like that. So I've kicked those out. I try to keep it to just quilting and actually quilting related stuff. So I try. It is still a small group, so I don't need moderators yet, but when I do, I will ask. I will be sure to ask for the help. I get to work on my super secret project tomorrow, and then I get to work on it again Wednesday. So, what is, my calendar fell earlier. So tomorrow's the 13th, and then Wednesday is the 15th. May is already half gone, and I'm not halfway done with what I need to be doing with it. Oh, it is going to be a struggle. Oh, it's going to be a struggle to get it done. I want to have the quilt top done on the super secret project by the end of May, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve that yet. So I don't have a timeline of when it has to be done by yet. So I guess I need to work on that too. Just getting a timeline. So Giovanna had put up some beads that she did recently, or some pictures of some beads that she had done, and a couple of other things recently too. Giovanna is probably asleep. She is welcome to be asleep. She stays up for so many of my lives, you guys. It is quiet without her here. She is so chatty. Love her to death. So Giovanna, when you watch my replay, you heard me. I said I love you. You are more than welcome to be the chatty person. I like it. Oh. Okay. All right, we are going to have a weird question time. And you guys are going to hate me. And I'm sorry. You're just going to hate me. And you're allowed to. What is the most annoying song you've ever heard? Let me know in the chat, what is the most annoying song that you've ever heard? The song that if you hear it, it is stuck in your head and doesn't go anywhere. Let me know. You're welcome, Nina. She's saying thank you for letting her join the Facebook group. Oh, no worries. The more the merrier. It is a community, and I want it to stay a community. All right, so the weirdest song that you have ever heard, or the most annoying song, rather, that you have ever heard that gets stuck in your head. What is that song? I need some suggestions, because tomorrow I'm going to be seeing some people that get those earworms problems, like they hear part of a song. Peaches, oh, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. I'm going to have to write these down. I am not familiar with that one. I'm going to have to look that one up. I know the Peaches song. I know that one. Oh, and it is stuck in my head. You got me. Chloe says, sorry, really can't chat. Working now off to drive home. Oh, no worries, Chloe. Please drive safe. Oh, Dawn. Dawn, you're so mean. He said, there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. Nina's millions of peaches, peaches for me. Yes, I know that one song. Raindrops keep falling on my head, says Jean. Oh, oh, oh my gosh, you guys. That's hilarious. Oh, you guys are coming up with some good ones. Oh, I can't wait to see what else you guys can think of. So, Nina, with that song being said, I bet you were born during the 80s because you would have heard that song repeatedly in the 90s. Am I right? Please tell me if I'm right. If I'm not right, that's fine. You don't have to tell me when you were born. But if you were born in the 80s and you were hearing it in the 90s, because you were a teen in the 90s, please let me know. Crocodile Rock by Elton John, says Chloe. Oh, goodness. That one, I don't know it well enough. When that one came on, it was played all the time, and I was so sick of it. Yeah, the Peaches song or the Raindrops? Jean, which one? Which one were you sick of? Was the Raindrops? Oh. Okay. So I listen to a lot of country music. A lot of country music. A lot. Chattahoochee. Alan Jackson's Chattahoochee. I do not know why, but that song, that one and Garth Brooks's Friends in Low Places, those get stuck in my head. Nina says it was my son's favorite and he appreciated the cassette when he had to drive me somewhere. Jean says, I've never heard of the Peaches song. Then that means that you were not a teenager during the 90s and you didn't have a kid. Nina, I love your answer. Yeah, Jean, so you were not born in the 90s, had a kid in the 90s, or have a teenager in the 90s. That was when it came out. Nina says the 50s. Oh, golly. Yep. So you know that Liza song, that the hole in the bucket, dear Liza song, too. Oh. Gosh, what other songs? Oh, Staying Alive song. Oh gosh. I was talking to a friend earlier today, and we were mentioning, I think it was earlier today, or it was yesterday. The Wheels on the Bus. That one gets stuck in your head. Jean says that she was born in the 50s as well. Nothing wrong with that. Gosh. What other songs? I know there's some others out there. They're just the catchy, annoyingly catchy songs. My kids had graduated in the 90s. Oh, okay. Yeah, they were probably hooked on music from the early 90s. I think that came out in mid 90s. Don't quote me on that. Mary Chapin Carpenter, Sometimes You're the Windshield. Oh my gosh. I have not heard that one in so long. Sometimes You're the Windshield, Sometimes You're the Bug. I know that song. Oh, God. Golly. Yes. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm going to have to play that song later just for the annoyance factor. I know exactly which one. Oh, that's a good one, Pam. That's an obscure one that not everyone's gonna have heard of, but yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, and then Chloe says I graduated in 99. I graduated high school in 01. I will give out that clip. Nina says my kids were the graduating class of 99 and then 01. Okay, yeah. See, I graduated in 01. Graduated high school in 01. I'll put it that way. That's not when I graduated college. I graduated high school in 01. Golly. Pam says country music fangirl here. Yes. Oldies and newbies. Yes. Oh, what the? Okay, hang on. Oh, Kimberly, you just sent me a link to that video, or to that music, didn't you? Thank you. That makes it simple. Oh, that's sweet of you. Thank you. So the Tulip songs she was talking about that I have not heard. Oh, gosh, what other country music? Oh, no. I've got one better. Oldies. When I was growing up, this was my mom's music. The song that goes, "It's my party and I'll cry if I want to." Tell me if you know that song. That song, I cannot sing it, Please don't ask me to sing because I can't. I know I can't. That song and Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. If I heard that song, I was singing that in my head all day long. Yep, I don't know whether to say you're welcome or I'm sorry. Well, I will have an answer for you later, Kimberly. Nina says I was bicentennial grad class of 1976. That's kind of exciting. Oh. So yeah, the It's My Party, I'll Cry If I Want to, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Now, one of my friends, not me, it was not my song. Kimberly says she knows both of them too. Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. And I know that is not the way that it is sung. But that song, oh my goodness, it was obnoxiously catchy. That one didn't get played on Muzak though. Some of these songs, now I will say this, I am one of those weird music, those were the songs I heard, yes, Jean. I kind of figured some of them might be. I grew up listening to a really wide variety of music. My mom particularly liked oldies, or what was considered oldies when I was growing up, along the lines of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and It's My Party, I'll Cry If I Want to, all the Elvis songs. I'm not a huge Elvis fan, so I don't know all of his songs. But yeah, all of that. I grew up listening to that. I grew up listening to country, and my dad would listen to really older country, like not really bluegrass country, but just I want to say Hank Williams and that kind of genre of country. But where we lived, I don't remember there being a lot of stations that played that music. The big bands, the Temptations, yes, absolutely. I grew up listening to those too. But I listened to the old country, and I also listened to current country when I was growing up. So like all the current country radio stations. So what is now considered older country, not the pop rock mixture country that we've got now. But I grew up listening to that. I married someone who listened to Alanis Morissette and Tori Amos, and I kind of fell in love with some of that music. Bellamy Brothers, Redneck Girl. I would have to play that one too. I don't know it. I think I know it. I think I know that song. Maybe. But I did grow up listening to, Billy Ray Cyrus and Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and Brooks and Dunn and a lot of those. But then the Big Chill soundtrack has wonderful classics that youngsters probably don't know. Are you calling me a youngster then? Really? I'm not that young. Now, I am one of those, I listen to almost every genre of music that has words. I don't listen to jazz. I don't listen to polka. I don't listen to classical. If it does not have words, I don't listen. My brain chemistry is, for some reason, wired weirdly, and music without words is such a struggle for me. Like it really just, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. Jean says I love classical. Kimberly says you're just a baby. Aww. So am I your daughter then? Is that what we're saying? uh, um, so I grew up listening to all of that, but then I also listened to steampunk. I've listened to some rap. There's some rap that I listen to. There's it's not a big selection, but there is some that I listen to. I gotta be able to hear the words and make them out, and I definitely like lyrical music. So if you have songs that have a story or um, have an emotional basis, that tends to drive me more than the actual music. See, I get that reaction, Gene. I totally get it. There are some that I don't listen to. There's a lot that I don't listen to. Quite a bit. Um, I don't listen to death metal. And that's for the same reason that I don't listen to classical. I have to have words that I can understand. And so rap, if it is music that I cannot understand the words, cannot follow the words, or they become too obscene, where it's just more language than it is actual story or language story, then I don't listen to it. Pam says, yes, story songs are awesome. Yes, absolutely. Um, let's see, what else do I listen to? I listen to indie. Um, indie music. If you're not familiar with the genre, indie music is the my understanding of indie music, and I'm more than happy to be corrected if my understanding is incorrect. Indie music is kind of like small batch. We call that noise, not music. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I do. And like I said, again, I don't listen to all of it. But I don't discriminate against it if I can understand the words. Jean says, yes, Nina. Yeah. So death metal is more noise to me than music because again, I don't understand the words. But indie is kind of like if you went to Whole Foods or a natural grocers or Earth Fair when it was around, if you went to go get your organic groceries and you go through the soaps and the skincare aisle or the medical aisle, you know, they've got all of this stuff in small batches and it's very eclectic in that respect. But it could be anything from oatmeal to eucalyptus to, anything. I mean, it could be any variety of whatever. Um, so indie is kind of like the organic grocery store selection. Um, they are it's bands that haven't made it big is my best understanding. So it's bands you're probably not going to have heard of unless you listen to only indie music. And you might get a band that is still, playing in their mom's garage or their dad's garage. You might get a band that tours the country in a camper van. Doesn't even have, their own lights yet. You can get like that. Folk music, some folk music could be indie. There is a lot of indie that I would classify as folk music. But there's a lot that is trying to fit in that same kind of mold of like 21 Pilots, or 90s grunge music like Nirvana and Candlebox and all of that. So you're going to have like a big variety of different kinds of sounds. So it's going to be that artist that nobody else has heard of yet. Is very much indie. And until like web streaming or whatever, the only places that I ever heard indie music was on like NPR radio stations, National Public Radio stations. And I love listening, and I haven't listened to in a while. Never heard of any of those either. No worries, Jean. No worries. Some of them are current bands. Some of them are it's more 90s music than anything. But I like listening to NPR and getting to their music segment. I just don't know when it's broadcast here. I haven't even listened to the radio much since I moved here. And it didn't earmark to me the time frame. So if any of you listen to NPR and you know when the music segment thing comes on, let me know. Because I miss that. I really do miss listening to that. I think... Okay, no, I did not screw up. Okay. I'm restacking as I go. I promise. But I do like listening to unique music. So, finding out what you guys think are catchy songs, that gets me. Because I have heard almost all of them. I think Pam's the only one that came up with somebody that I've not heard of. But now, once I listen to it, I might have heard of it. But I don't know until I listen to it. That's going to be the one I'm going to have to figure out. All right, guys, we are at 17 viewers. We are 8 away from doing a giveaway. So we will see if we hit that giveaway tonight. And Jean, you are only as old as you feel or as old as you want yourself to be. So you are always allowed in my presence to use that you are 20 something. I'm not going to say 20 plus what for anybody. That's not ever fair. But you are always a 20 something. Now, if you want to call yourself a 30 something, I'll let you do that. And you might get away with 40 something. But I'm never going to force you to call yourself that old. Never force anybody. So we'll be on at least till this set is done. So we're not going to be on for a whole lot longer. Because it is already 9:30 here. Now, here's a question for you guys. Laura is here. She says, hi, Tammy and everyone. Hi, Laura. I am glad you are here. Thank you for joining in the chat. So, I am working on my homework. Kimberly says you and I need to head off and spend quality. Oh, you need to head off and spend quality time with the guys. Have a nice night, everyone. Absolutely, Kimberly. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. It was good having you in the chat. Absolutely great time. And everybody's saying night to Kimberly. Alright, so yeah, I am working on my homework for chiseled and cut and chiseled. I have not trimmed my half square triangles, so that's what I'm working on. And I am over halfway done with the entire stack of 144. But this is just kind of what I wanted to come on here and work on tonight. Just get some extra time in on this. So if I was to start doing Sunday nights as my second live, so I'd have Tuesday nights like this 5 p.m. Laura says I've been packing for a trip and didn't see that you were live. No worries, Laura. This was very impromptu. I did not even have it booked on YouTube until a couple minutes before I hit the go live button. I put a couple, I think I might have put something on the Facebook page, but I did put something on the YouTube community page. And I know YouTube doesn't always send those community notices out on time, so you'll probably get that notification later. So no worries at all. Yes, please enjoy your trip, Laura. When are you leaving? Are you leaving tomorrow? Is that when you're leaving to head out on your trip? So if I do, you guys, I do Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. If I start coming on for a couple hours every Sunday night, about the same time that I started this one, so an hour and a half ago, how does that work out for you guys? Do you guys want a Sunday night live? Do you think that would be like a good fill-in, where there's not a lot of other content creators already broadcasting and already vying for the same time slot? Because I have been looking at starting in June to have a second regular live. So I would have my Tuesday nights, and then I would bring in another live. And I just kind of need some feedback on what you guys think would work. Do you think like this late at night on Sunday night would work? Or do I need to do something, more during the day? Because I can't always do those Saturday mornings. Jean says fine by me. Sounds good. All right. Jean, you're in Pacific time, aren't you? Laura says about 5:30 tomorrow morning. Oh, goodness. You're going to Iowa to see your sister and her new granddaughter. Oh, that's awesome. That's exciting. And new granddaughter sounds fabulous. That is a great way. That's fabulous because she's here right before Mother's Day. That's exciting. So she's got a new granddaughter just in time for Mother's Day. I've been toying back and forth, you guys, with the idea of doing a Saturday morning live. Trying to hit like right after Sean and Donnell on Saturday mornings, because Donnell's is right after Sean's. And then trying to hit that time slot. But I know there's other content creators out there who are also doing content about that same time. I know Russ is with Quilt Meets World, I believe. And I don't know if he's every Saturday or what the schedule is for him. But I'm trying not to. No morning, please. Okay. So yes, oh, that's right. Yes. So yeah, you are Pacific time. Okay. That makes sense. She was born April 3rd, but this was the soonest I could go. Hey, you know what? Just a little over a month. That's fine. That's fine. The baby will not know the difference. That is exciting, though. That is so exciting. I'm excited for you. That's awesome. So I might do Sunday nights as a regular live time. I just don't know exactly what time, because I know Tiffany goes live on Sunday nights too, and she does have a big crowd that follows her. And I don't think I'm going to take anybody from Tiffany. I mean, I'm not that big. But I don't want to be competing for that time slot, if that makes sense. The morning people are killing me. I have to watch all replays, not as much fun. Yeah, that's been a problem too. Laura says Saturday is always crazy for me, but I'd catch the replay. The evenings are much easier for me to jump on. Awesome. Okay, so that answers that question. So, I can't always do a Saturday evening, because Saturday evenings tend to be when everybody around here schedules things. So, if I did Saturday evenings, it would be like an every other Saturday kind of thing, maybe, if I got lucky. But then I still would have to rearrange things. There's some things that I can't rearrange that are out of my control. So I'd have to do some different scheduling. But I think I could do Sunday nights. Pam says, I too end up watching more replays than lives. Are you also, what time zone are you in, Pam? Because I know you've managed to catch some of my lives. So, are you also Pacific or Mountain Time? Is that why this time is working well? Let me know. Because I know, Laura, you're in Arizona. So you're Arizona time, same as Tiffany. And, I mean, I want to put another live out there, like another scheduled live on a weekly basis. I've been toying with the idea for months about where I would put it. Because I want to be consistent in everything that I do. And it's really hard to be consistent when I feel like I'm competing with other people. And it's not that I shouldn't compete. I'm not going to say that. It's not that I shouldn't compete. It's just that I know other people already have established followings. I mean, I'm right now, if I catch anybody's lives, it is 100% replay. Like I've caught a couple here and there that it's just been happenstance, but everything else has all been replay. If I can even have the time to watch replays, that's what I don't want to do. Central time zone. You work days Monday through Friday. Okay. And this is not too late for you because it's almost 11 o'clock where you're at then. I don't want to be too late. But if I do like 2 hours, or maybe if I start at 7, do 7 through 10, that would be 3 hours. If I need the full 3 hours, but 7 to 9 if I don't. So that would put you 8 to 10. And that would put Jean, let's see, 7 to 9. Because it's coming up on 9 o'clock where she's at now. Okay. I will think about it, you guys. I will think about it. Look for it in June. I'll do some announcements before I start the lives. So you guys will have some time to prepare. Hi, Kathy. She says, Kathy with My Hobby Home is here. She says, hello, saw you were on live. Yes. I'm not going to be on much longer, but yes, I'm glad you are here. Thank you. And Kathy, if you will do exclamation selfie in the chat, that will give everybody in the live chat a link to your channel. So you can definitely drop that exclamation selfie in the chat and give everybody a link over to your channel as well. I was not expecting to see you tonight. Let's see. Pam says don't plan around me, but I'm a night owl trying to do better sleep. Oh, gotcha. There you go, Kathy. Awesome. So if you guys have not checked out Kathy's channel, she is out of Louisiana. And correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I'm allowed to be wrong. Kathy's out of Louisiana. And I love watching your channel, Kathy. I will say this. Your accent is that taste of home. I mean, not everybody that I grew up with talks with that same accent that you have. But I lived for a year on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And so hearing that accent, that brings me right back. Kathy says, lol, I wasn't expecting to be up right now, just uploading a video right now. That is awesome, though. That's absolutely awesome. I'm glad you stopped over. Jean says, I'm a night owl. That's why I don't do mornings. See, I kind of am too. That is correct. Southern as sweet tea. Yes. So you guys, if you have not heard a proper Southern accent, or, well, okay, let's rephrase this. If you have not heard a Louisiana accent, Kathy has it. Kathy's got it good. And she's a quilter. You guys, you really ought to check out her channel if you've not already. Jean says that she's already on your channel, Kathy. Yep. I mean, even if I don't get to watch your channel, Kathy, as much as I want to, every time I put your channel on, it is that taste of the South that it is hard to get it quite the same way. Kathy says, I don't do mornings, but my employer thinks I should be there at 6 a.m. I can't help you there. Maybe you can call in post Mother's Day melees. We'll help sell them on that. How's that work? Oh, I am not a mornings person. I do have physical therapy this week at 8 a.m. one day. No, I do not know how I'm going to manage this. But I do have it scheduled. And I need to be there. But I'm not going to like it. Jean says, that's why I'm glad to be retired. I'm poor but content. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I could work, I would probably still be in the tech field. Just because it gives me a break from all the creative energy. Because when I'm in the tech field, I don't have to be creative. I don't have to think about things. So that when I am off of work, I can spend my energy being creative. And it's kind of that recharge. But I've not been able to be in the workforce for a while now. So it is what it is. And I am with you on the retired and poor, basically. That is kind of where I'm at. All right. You guys, these are my last 2 sets of 12, so we are getting there. We may actually go ahead and finish this up. May run a little over 2 hours, but it's okay. It's okay. Kathy says, rough, but most of the time it is just me in the office so I can rest when I need it. There you go. That's the way to look at it. So my last working place position, the last job that I held, I did tech support over the phone. So I was sitting on the phone and typing things into the computer and troubleshooting and things like that. So I was sitting at a computer, kind of a cushy job. Somebody asked me to go up for management, and I turned it down because I was like, no, I'm done having that much stress in my life. I do not need the added stress of being a supervisor. I've done it, been there, done that. Got the t-shirt and already burned it in the bonfire. I do not need to be a manager again. I don't want it. That's for the young folk. I just didn't want the stress. But when I stopped being able to do my job because of my disabilities, it was hard. It was definitely hard to adjust. But while I was working that job, the one nice thing is that if I was not actively on a phone call with a client and I didn't have anything going on, like, there weren't other people waiting to talk to somebody. It was a call center, but if it was a slow day or whatever, I could do things with my hands. So I could take in handwork and work between phone calls. And I actually completed an entire quilt top table, or not table runner, but a wall hanging. I did it entirely by hand, appliquing it, cutting it out, appliquing, and quilting it. I did it all while I worked that job. But it's the only thing that I've ever done like that completely by hand. Jean says, I was a nurse, couldn't do it now. Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. I do not have the physical stamina to do that. My last retail job, I did work retail. My last retail job was selling sewing machines. But my retail job before that was working for a pharmacy. And I did every position in that store aside from managing the entire store by myself. I was not the head manager, and I'm glad I wasn't. Kathy says I did customer service for a mortgage banking company and had to retire due to health. And there was never any downtime. Yeah, now that I understand too. Laura says I was in HR. I was the benefits coordinator for a school district but had to retire due to health issues in 2017. That is understandable too, Laura. When you are working HR, you are, oh my gosh, you have so much on your plate, and especially doing benefits, more power to you. That takes a lot of brain power. You have to be sharp to be able to do that. I could not have done that, especially not when I started having issues. I could not have done that. That's another reason I turned down the management job. I was already struggling and didn't want to put additional stress on myself. I wanted to try to work as long as I could. I basically retired on disability or with disability in 2016. So I've been gone from the workforce for a little bit. Now anything for a school district is hard. You are not lying, Kathy. Not lying. Schools, I really wish that at least somewhere in the country could get schools right across the board. But we've got so much government bureaucracy. I don't see it happening. I could not work in a school. I went and helped out my son's teachers when he was little, when he was in elementary school. I could never have been a teacher, not in a school district or anything like that. It's just, that is a noble, very noble job, but it is not something I would have the energy to do. All right. We are getting there, you guys. We are getting there. All right. Oh, I shouldn't start counting. I'm sitting here trying to start counting how many of this fabric I've got left. Nope, I should not start counting. It is not the time to count. There's more than 2 or 3 left. Kathy says, well, I need to call it a night. It's hard for me to leave my sewing room. Y'all have a great night. Absolutely, Kathy. You have a good night as well. And thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm sure all my subscribers that have not seen you before will be visiting you. That was awesome to have her come hang out. Absolutely awesome. Beverly is saying night to Kathy. Beverly, you are so sweet. Thank you so much. You're always on point with it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So we've got 12 plus whatever I've got left on this one. Laura says, that was part of my problem. I ended up with bleeding ulcers because of the stress. Oh, no. That combined with fibromyalgia and psoriatic arthritis, among other things, was just too much. Yes. Well, you got 2 of the conditions I got. I got fibromyalgia and I have psoriatic arthritis now. When I first retired, it was just fibromyalgia. But as a point of reference, I was tested I've been tested repeatedly now. I even was tested after I moved here. Um, but I've been tested probably 5 times since my diagnosis in 2012. So we're like 5 times over the course of 12 years. I've been tested for multiple sclerosis because my fibromyalgia symptoms are so dramatically severe compared to what my doctors are used to seeing in a traditional fibromyalgia diagnosis, that they think that there is no way it is just fibromyalgia. So when I go, I've been, I'll tell them, I'm like, okay, so I've been tested or I've had an MRI for multiple sclerosis in the past, because my doctors were worried that I might have it because, of how much pain I'm always in and how much it's not controlled with medication and all of these other key markers that is not common in fibromyalgia. So yeah, I've gotten tested within even the past year for MS because my symptoms are that severe. So I really wish that they knew what caused fibromyalgia. It's heartbreaking. I do not wish it on anyone else. I've had doctors tell me that, well, at least it doesn't kill you. Like, that's encouraging. I laugh about it because there's no way to not laugh about it. If you don't laugh, you cry, right? That's what we're going to go with. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's another song. That's a story, and I'm sticking to it. Was that a Billy Ray Cyrus song? No. That was not Billy Ray Cyrus. Oh. We were talking annoying songs earlier. So, annoying songs, that song was one that stuck in my head too. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Laura says my fibromyalgia began after I had spinal meningitis in 2000. They do think I have other autoimmune issues, but haven't been able to identify just what it is. Yes, absolutely yes. 1,000 times yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Mine started after a back injury. I was working for the pharmacy that I had worked for, and I turned in a 2 weeks notice. And 1 week into my 2 weeks notice, I felt a pop in my back. Or no, correction. Let me back up. I heard a pop in my back. Didn't feel it, just heard it. Like it was a very loud pop. I was looking around to see if anybody else heard the sound because it was that loud. And a couple of hours later, I was in the cash office and trying to count down the money for the night and to count down the drawers. And I felt 2 more pops. And I went from I was fine, didn't hurt, to suddenly I felt like my entire back just would not move at all. I had to reach for the phone and grab it, page someone to the office, to the cash office, to be able to help move a chair towards me. And then I had to give them keys that I'm not supposed to give them. I had to give them keys to go around and do things that I needed them to do for me because I wasn't physically able to do it. I had to go get MRIs and all this testing for workman's comp done. And workman's comp, because again, I was working at my 2-week notice. Workman's comp, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera, you guys. workman's comp cut me off after 6 weeks, something like that. They're like, well, you should be fine now. I was diagnosed with bulging discs, and the only true, the only true relief I got at any point in time that has been complete relief was I somehow ended up at it was a pain center, but they were doing these guided injections into my back to be able to, I don't know what medication they were giving me. I honestly don't. But they were giving me some kind of injections. Well, after so many injections, you only get so many per year. So they worked, but then I hit my limit for the year. And then some other stuff happened, and I couldn't go get the injections again or whatever. And any other injections that I've had since then have not been successful. I was told that surgery wasn't an option because of where the bulging discs are. But all that happened in 2010, and it took them 2 years to diagnose me with fibromyalgia. I've been tested for nerve conduction. I've been tested for, obviously, for MS and lupus and all of the other fibromyalgia adjacent type diagnoses. And the only thing that they can come up with was fibromyalgia, but they just didn't know why mine is so severe. And they've never come up with an answer. So that is what I deal with. That's my primary diagnosis. But psoriatic arthritis started about 2 years ago, something like that. And the treatments that I'm getting for that are being successful, thankfully. So we're going to cross fingers and hope that that stays. I do get infusions every so often. I'm on a schedule right now for that. So my infusions are helping. So we're just going to keep hoping that that is the norm. Maybe if my psoriatic arthritis stays in check, then my fibromyalgia will stay in check. All right, you guys. I'm on the last 12. This is the last fabric I'm cutting with these orangey flowers. The chat is so quiet. You guys aren't chatty at night. Okay, so maybe I won't go live Sunday nights. I don't know. That's why I was in bed so much today. Fibromyalgia. Yes. Yes, Jean. I get you. I am with you. I might have to do a fibromyalgia quilt, you know? I might just have to do that. I might be able to auction that off. Fibromyalgia is so misunderstood. But they still don't have, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. When I got diagnosed, there were no blood tests for fibromyalgia, and there was no diagnostic testing other than trigger points. And if you responded to those trigger points, then you had fibromyalgia. And that was it. That was it was excluding everything else, and then if you respond to the trigger points, then that's what you have. So if there's a test now, I might request it. But I don't know. I heard some rumors that there was a blood test that had been approved or something. Laura says it took years for me to be diagnosed, but everything began with meningitis. Yes. I think your immune system, I think what happens is that your immune system gets attacked by something, or just gets overwhelmed, and then the rest of your body just plans a mutiny. Jean says also have allergies 24/7, 365. Can't take Benadryl because it dries out my sinuses and clogs them. Then I have sinus infections. Yes, I do not wish sinus infections on anyone. Ooh, no. Now, I will say this. When I talked to my mom, she said that the pollen is bad right now. I said, you don't sound too great. You sound tired. And she's like, I am. And they were out cutting grass the other day. So, of course, her sinuses are just attacking her. I am glad that I do not live with all of that anymore. That is part of the reason we moved. So that I could be a little bit more functional. The pollen in the southeast is nothing to, well, okay, pun intended. The pollen in the southeast is nothing to sneeze at. Oh, it is everything to sneeze at. I could not imagine having a whole lot of allergies. Thankfully, that is one thing that I don't have to deal with. They did all sorts of tests on me and decided it had to be fibromyalgia because they had to cross off everything else. See, that's one thing I don't like is that we're still stuck with well, it's not all of these 15 other options, so this is your only option. And Jean's laughing at my the pollen in the south is nothing to sneeze at comment. I am so very glad that my car is not yellow. If I leave it outside, I'm very thankful that other parts of the country exist. The entire United States does not have to be a pollen-coated bowl of allergens. I could not imagine. Not imagine. Oh, you guys, I can see the bottom of the pile. I bet me cutting half square triangles is boring, though. Is it boring? Are you guys bored? Is me cutting half square triangles that entertaining, or is the conversation that's entertaining? Because I know you're not seeing the half square triangle when my arm is like laying all the way across it. I'm allergic to pretty much everything, says Laura. Oh no! Alright, last four, you guys. Jean says they tried to give me allergy testing and had to get me out of the lab because I couldn't breathe and water streaming from my eyes. Oh my gosh. That's rough. That's very, very rough. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Chloe says pretty. Thank you. Alright, yeah, so yeah, Jean, I agree. You are allergic to everything. If you can't get through the allergy testing, that is pretty stinking allergic to everything. I don't mean to laugh, but it is kind of funny, Yeah. I guess the question of, what you're not allergic to is the shorter list. Chloe says, is late here after midnight. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. It's 12:09 there. Hey, you're already into Monday. Yay. Jean says I have boxes of Kleenex in every room. So did you buy stock? Okay, my puns are going to get worse as the night goes. So good thing we are on the last three. Nina says is a combination of talking and doing something that I enjoy. Aw, yay. Okay, so my weird ramblings are helping. Okay, gotcha. Oh, I'm going to have to start coming up with a playlist. So if I do this starting in June, and start doing Sunday Night Lives in June, I'm going to have to come up with a playlist of questions or topics to talk about. So that will be my goal for the month of May, is to start coming up with things to talk about on Sunday Night Lives in June. Give me a month ahead. All right. This one and one more. And then we will be off of here for tonight, too. And we didn't hit 25, so we won't do a giveaway today. But we will be having a giveaway coming up soon. I just won't say when. You just gotta be watching if I'm live. Because I got a few things to give away. I promise I do. I got a total of 5 things that I know of that I can give away. Jean says, that's okay. I just keep going. Not going to stop living. Well, that'd be kind of hard to do. So you have dog, houseplants, flowers in the yard. I cut grass. It is what it is. True. Chloe says that she got fibro after Lyme's disease. Oh gosh. Yeah, you got a double whammy there. Now, here's an interesting one for you. When I got pregnant with my son, we didn't know I was pregnant because I got mono. Don't know where I got mono. Nobody that I knew had mono. But we didn't know I was pregnant because I was so beat down from mono. So for the first month of my pregnancy, I had mono. And for the second month, I was recovering from mono. So between all the changing hormones that happened due to pregnancy and having mono, my body was dealt a very, very rough hand. All right. Okay. My homework is done. Nina says, watching you doing something that keeps me watching alive. Awesome. Yeah, I like being able to have the extra camera so you guys can see. Because that helps me too. I'm going to bring you guys off of that. So, all right. There's the homework. It is done. So my stuff is ready for Thursday. Chloe says mono is awful. Yes. Yes, mono is. It is the beast. And I mean, it's just, there's no easy way to get through mono. That's the hardest part of it, is there's no easy way. Nobody gets it easy with mono. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, you guys. Show off, says Jean. Okay. I admit that. I needed that. Chloe says, lovely. Thank you, Chloe. Nina says, you did it. Yes. Yes. So, I didn't have to trim these. These are the rectangles. But all 144 half square triangles are trimmed. Beverly is saying, good night, everyone, and take care. And I do not disagree with you, Beverly, because I'm going to get off of here, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here in just a second. I want to thank you for being here. I will go live Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So come hang out with me. We're going to work on sparkle. Get a little sparkle back into our life. Laura's wishing everyone a wonderful week. Jean says, night all. Had a great time with you ladies. Thank you, Jean. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Chloe says, I won't have time to cut my fat quarters until later this week. No worries, Chloe. It's not a big deal. Dawn says, good evening, everyone. There you are, Dawn. Glenda says, good night, everyone. And Chloe says, good